All right, welcome back to Cruising Off Duty. Check out this perfect summer's day. I'm gonna take advantage of it. Janice is not with me until tomorrow night, Saturday night. I'm gonna take advantage of this weather and go sailing solo down the St. Lawrence River, probably to Irving Bay or maybe even to Breaky Bay. All depends on the wind. And I want you to come along with me. So let's do this. Oh, and in case you're first time to the channel, you don't know who I am, there's a little intro for you. Catch you after that. Hi, we are Craig and Janice, and welcome to Cruising Off Duty. We love to travel and to see the world, and in the future, we plan to do that full time. That's right, we're gonna sell everything, buy a catamaran, and sail around the world. And just to reinforce that plan, I went on a 3-week transatlantic sailing passage on this catamaran and loved it. So as many of you know, we film a series every year where we go to the Annapolis Sailboat Show and we do the pros and cons of various catamarans that are there, and we sort of rank the boats as to what we would buy if we were buying today. But sadly, we're probably a few years away from that big purchase, so for now we're sailing our 35-foot Beneteau around the Thousand Islands, and it is breathtaking. Oh, there's plenty of YouTube channels that'll take you all over the Caribbean, but we're probably the only channel that's going to show you this world-class cruising ground right in the mouth of the Great Lakes, in between Canada and the United States. So hopefully you want to come along with us as we go cruising. And if you're all about the Caribbean, who knows, maybe I'll get asked to do another transatlantic sailing trip. No, seriously. So I would go again. I work for free. I don't eat much. I'll sleep on the floor. I'm easy to get along with. I've got salt water in my veins. There's Off Duty, our floating cottage, our home away from home, our little baby. Okay, he's 35 feet. It's not that little, but you get my point. And here's our new home for the boat this year. We're at Portsmouth Olympic Harbor and we love it. We have great docks, great facilities, and it's located really close to downtown Kingston where all the bars, restaurants, and activities are, so we couldn't be happier. And if that wasn't already a good enough reason to like the place, I can't feel more safe than I would here. Kingston Fire Department, Kingston Police Department, the RCMP, which is the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and the Canadian Coast Guard all have their boats stationed here. I mean, talk about free security. Makes me extra glad that I named my boat Off Duty because even though I've never met any of them, I get smiles and waves. We've all seen those boats with nefarious names, like Rum Runner or something like that, and I'm guessing I wouldn't get as warm a greeting. Okay, let's talk about the steps you've got to take before you leave the dock, just to be safe. Okay, step one before you leave the dock is check your oil, make sure your engine is perfectly topped up, and that's been done. The next thing, I'm gonna add another jerry can of diesel into my tank before I go. My gauge is a little iffy. I don't totally trust it, so I want to make sure I have enough fuel in it. And I'll show you what it has to be the easiest but best invention ever for filling your boat from a jerry can without spilling it all over the place. So check it out. So this is the invention. Simple as it may seem, a rubber tube with a brass fitting and a little ball bearing inside. And when you shake it, the ball bearing bounces around and it actually siphons fuel out of your tank, out of your jerry can. Crazy simple, but now I don't spill. When I first got the boat, I was trying to pour jerry cans in, and of course you always splash it all over your boat. It's just a mess. Never happens anymore. So if you don't have one of these, go find one at your hardware store. We're in Canada, we got it at Canadian Tire, but I don't know where you live. Wherever you live, find this thing and you'll be happy. So check it out. Nothing in the tube, no fuel. Put it in your jerry can, shake it. There we go. It starts filling. Now, you hear the ball bearing vibrating as the fuel goes through, and it just goes right into my fill hole. How awesome is that? Now once I found that thing, I was like, why was I pouring it with a jerry can? Anyways, simple invention. Whoever made that dough is ingenious. Okay, we have plenty of oil, plenty of fuel. I think we're ready to go. Let's untie. Okay, so the autopilot is engaged, so it'll keep me on a straight path while I go and take all the fenders off. And obviously, whenever you're walking around on a boat, especially outside the protection of the cockpit, safety first, wear your life jacket. Because especially when you're solo, you fall in, nobody's gonna come back and save you. So, safety. Okay, the fenders are away, so it's time to raise the sails. Now I gotta admit, wind is not very strong, so we will not be sailing very fast, but we'll do what we can. Okay, now that the Genoa's up, I can kill the engine, which is a great sound. There we go, isn't that more peaceful? Plus, it doesn't jiggle the camera around. I notice when I have a mount and the engine's running, kind of get this vibration. Annoying as it is, it's done. So we won't have to deal with that for a while. Now I'm gonna put up my mainsail. Okay, both sails are up. Earlier when I left the harbor, or before I left the harbor, the wind was actually reasonable. But now that I'm out here, the wind has really died. So it might require a change of plans on where we're headed. I was headed to Irving Bay, or maybe even a little further to Breaky Bay if I could actually sail well. But tomorrow, coming back, the wind's gonna be right on my nose coming back, and I know that from the forecast. So my question is, if I can't make good time, should I keep going downriver or should I go that direction towards Simcoe Island and hang out there for the day? I wish I could talk to you guys live and I'd take a vote, but sadly I cannot. So give this a little bit more time, and then if it doesn't pick up, I'm going to go about 110 degrees that direction and head to Simcoe Island. So either way, we're on a boat. Good times no matter what we do. It's just a matter of where we end up. Let's touch base in half an hour. We'll see how it goes from there. Okay, here I am. One good thing about being on a sailboat of a reasonable size is it's a mode of transportation, but it's also your home. So you have your kitchen with you everywhere you go, which is nice. I was in such a rush to get out sailing today on this beautiful day. I never even had breakfast, so I'm gonna have cereal while we chat. Here is the decision we have to make. Wind is pretty light. Now it's picked up a little bit. We're almost doing 3 knots now, 2.9 knots. But some of that could be the current. That's not bad. It's a little slow, but not bad. So we can keep going all the way to Breaky Bay, or possibly a better idea, mostly because tomorrow's wind is supposed to pick up and be from the nose coming back. So I'd have to tack all the way back, and that might be a long time. And I gotta pick up Janice tomorrow around dinner time. So what I might do is sail down more than halfway to Breaky Bay, and then turn around and sail back and end up anchoring at Simcoe Island, which is just across the river from Kingston where my boat is moored, and that way tomorrow I don't have as far to fight the wind to get back to pick up Janice. So it's all about the trip, right? It's not about the destination per se, so I don't care what bay I end up at. We have 3 options: Irving Bay, a little bit further is Breaky Bay, or double back and sail to Simcoe Island. You'll be with me, you'll figure out what I decide when I decide it, but if the wind dies, I'm going back to Simcoe Island. If the wind picks up, I'll go all the way to Breaky Bay, and I'll worry about tomorrow's wind tomorrow. So for now, I just sit back, relax, get some sustenance, and enjoy this perfect day. I mean, there is not a cloud in the sky. It's awesome. Okay, as you can see, my water speed indicator tells me I'm doing 3.2 knots, but my GPS on my Navionics is saying I'm doing 4.5 knots. So we're moving along all right. Also wanted to show you Kingston. I know those who've been around the channel a bunch know that I'm out of Kingston and this is what it looks like, but really is a very pretty little town on the St. Lawrence, just at the mouth of Lake Ontario and the Thousand Islands. Definitely an awesome spot to come visit if you're a boater and you can make it here. I highly suggest it. There's lots to do downtown. But yeah, we are actually sailing along at a decent clip, which makes my decision tougher. Now I'm starting to think I just go all the way to Breaky Bay and worry about tomorrow's weather tomorrow. I think I will do that if this wind keeps up. I'm doing 5 knots now, 5.2 knots now. This is crazy. Okay, wind is back. Breaky Bay, here we come. Okay, we are probably 2/3 of the way to Breaky Bay, and the wind has been great. At one point it's doing a little over 6 knots with the current, but still, it's pretty good. I could probably trim my sails better to maximize speed, but I was kind of looking for a relaxing sailing day, and all of a sudden, yeah, the wind picked up. Definitely gonna make it to Breaky Bay. That's the further bay of the options, and looking forward to it. Once I get to anchor, I'm allowed to have a beverage of an alcoholic variety, but until then, you're not allowed. No rum and coke for me. Should be there maybe an hour, so we're good. Okay, now we're cooking with gas. We got about 17, 18 knots of wind there, and we were up to 8.5 knots. Of course, as soon as I turn the camera on, it dies down a bit. But it just goes to show you, it was a calm day, and all of a sudden, it got really, really breezy. And everything went flying, including my gimbal camera thing. It was on this side, and the boat started to really heel, and it fell on the floor, so I had to go check that thing out, make sure it didn't damage that. These things do happen. Goes from 10 knots of wind to 18 knots of wind in about 30 seconds. And yeah, makes for great speed. Yeah, here we go again. It's the knots, 16 knots. 17 knots. There's the speed of the boat, 7.7. We were doing 8.3 at one point. So, it's definitely making good time. Let's hope my camera's okay. There we go, 8 knots. 7.8 knots. I don't think it was calling for this much wind in the forecast. It's supposed to be a light wind day. But isn't this fun? Isn't this fun? You never really count on anything when you're sailing. It's calling for 5 to 10 knots of wind today, and I think we probably hit gusts of 20 there. So, good times, good times. Definitely going to speed up our arrival at Reef Bay. We'll be there. I said an hour. I think it's going to be more like half an hour to where we're going now. Alright, well, if anything else exciting happens, I'll turn the camera back on. Now I'm going to go check my other camera. Make sure I didn't damage it. So hopefully not. Okay, we're still moving along. 7 point something knots. Camera is good, luckily. Yeah, unexpected. All I hear is a loud bang, and I do hear a lot of stuff inside my boat sliding around too. Clearly I hadn't properly stowed everything, expecting it to be a really light downwind day, but these things happen. But yeah, update is camera, gimbal, all intact. So in case you weren't aware, this whole island over here, it's all one big massive island called Wolf Island. It goes on and on from Kingston all the way, well, the only closest city I can think of is way down on the other side is Clayton in New York State. I mean, it's a huge island. I think it's probably one of the biggest in the area. So when I said I was going to go to Irving Bay if the wind was light, that's this bay right here. And you just go around this green buoy. I guess there's a bit of a shallow in there, but I think, yeah, we'd probably be fine. But anyways, no, I see rocks. No, we wouldn't be fine. There's a green buoy there. Go around that into the bay and you can anchor in there. It's not as popular for anchoring. I don't know why. It's a bigger bay than Reef Bay, which is kind of looks like a piece of land sticking out there. Just around the corner there is Reef Bay. And that's more popular for some reason. There's a lot more boats that anchor there than Irving. I've only ever seen 1 or 2 boats ever anchor in Irving Bay. We anchored there once just for an afternoon and the holding seemed fine, so that's a perfectly acceptable anchorage. But since we've got lots of wind and we're moving along at a good clip, we are going onward to Reef Bay. Okay, we're almost there, and then I'm going to be busy firing up the engine, taking down the sails, getting the anchor ready, yada yada. Thought I might take an opportunity to go down below and see the carnage that happened when the boat kind of heeled over quickly for no unforeseen reasons. And yeah, looking like somebody had a temper tantrum and just threw everything everywhere. But here's my drone case. I don't think my drone was in it though. I think it's in the blue case, which is also there, but at least it's in the case. And yeah, not too bad, not too bad. A few things went flying, but no harm, no foul, right? Right? These things happen. We're almost there. Reef Bay, just past that little piece of land. So at some point soon, I'll have to take down these sails. And then the ritual, the dancing ritual of anchoring by yourself, which is find the perfect spot, start backing up in a perfectly straight line, then leave it in gear as you run to the front and undo the anchor and let it out to the appropriate length, and then run back and steer, because it never steers the direction you want it to steer. You want to back down on your anchor pointing into the wind. So you don't want to back down pointing into the wrong direction, or your anchor's useless because it's going to set the wrong direction. Anyway, you will see that soon, so just be prepared for the dance. Okay, the in-mast furling mains are always a little temperamental. They're sometimes bind up, so I'm going to do that one first. Take that sail in now. Okay, that's in. So now fire up the engine, take down the Genoa and head on in. I could sail a little further. Yeah, let's sail a little further. This means I gotta tighten up the Genoa. I don't know if you can see over there. That's Reef Bay, and you can see there's already, see at least 3 sailboats over there. And when we get around the corner, there might be even more. So there you go. Like I said, Irving Bay probably had nobody today. I don't know why that bay gets so many less boaters than this bay. They both have about the same depth, and from what I can tell, about the same bottoms. And they're both considered anchorages on the Navionics software, so no explanation for it. Yeah, this is a way windier day than I expected. But just the Genoa we were flying along. I don't even know how good the camera's picking up the sound because the wind might be overwhelming it. It's just my normal vlog camera, not the one with the big dead cat on it. I see 7 boats in there. 3 sailboats, 3 power boats. 3 power boats look like they're all rafted up together, so that's obviously a party in progress. Well, make that 4 power boats. Well, it takes a little time to take the sail down, so I think I'll just take it down now and motor in the rest of the way. So I'll fire up the motor. Done! Okay, now let's just motor on in there. Find our anchorage. Okay, so I got my Navionics, of course, to show me where it's shallow, where it's not. We're still in 16 feet of water, even though everybody else is anchored out here. There's only one guy over here. I'm gonna go even further in because I like to be in about 10 feet of water. And also I'm more protected further in. So I'll turn the camera around and I'll show you how I anchor solo. Okay, I'm way in there and the best I can find is about 13.5 feet of water, so I'm gonna go with that. Trick is to back up the boat slowly while you're pointed directly into the wind. So the boat was in reverse, moving backwards slowly. And I think it locked itself. Yeah, it was easy. Simple! Back down on it harder, make sure it's really dug in. Oh yeah. I've got the RPMs going, I'm gonna go check. You can tell if it's perfectly dug in if the chain stays at the same level of tension while you're backing down on it. We have a 45-pound Mantis anchor, and that thing is heavy. Probably too heavy for this boat, but we like that extra size, and sharp as hell. It'll dig into anything through weeds and everything. So happy we got this Mantis. Anyways, it dug in, you saw, first try. Just put it in reverse slowly, went up, dropped it, boom. Now I'm just gonna go up and check. I think I let out, saw the 50-foot mark go by, and I let out another 10 or 15, so I'm probably at 65 in 13 feet. I could probably let out another 5. I'll go up and check, make sure. Maybe get to the 75 mark. So I let it out to where the 75 mark was just at the top of my bow roller, so I probably have about 70 feet of chain out in 13.5, 14 feet of water. Let me just check the depth here. Yeah, 13.4 feet of water. So yeah, it's at least 5 to 1, so that's good. And it's not expected to be super windy overnight. It's nice and protected bay here. I'll pan around so you can see it, but yeah, if it was a little more exposed or if it was gonna be really windy, I'd go 7 to 1 scope, but you also want to be courteous to the people around. You don't want to take up too much area in an anchorage because if more boats show up, then you'll be banging into each other. So let me just pan around and show you what Breaky Bay looks like. Woo, I just noticed, look at that wind-blown hair. Oh, well, that happens with sailing. Okay, so you see, this is the apex of the bay over here. It's like this, the end of it. And then it's all kind of rural countryside. There's a farm, kind of rustic environment. There are houses and people living here, but there's the rest of the bay. And as you can see, everybody else anchored out there. So, but when I was out there, it was like 17, 19 feet of water. And yeah, I didn't want to put out 100 and whatever feet of chain. So there we go. We are nicely nestled into the most furthest in point of Breaky Bay and still have plenty of water. So yeah, now I haven't had anything but that cereal this morning. Now I can have something to eat for lunch. I can crack up a brewski or a rum and coke. I'm definitely gonna do that. I haven't drank anything today. Nothing, not even water. Well, maybe water. But anyways, I definitely need something alcoholic. I wish I could offer you one, but sorry. So the fridge is still working fine. That's good, nice and frosty. Everything's frozen. And in fact, I tried this. I put water in a glass and put it in the freezer because I thought, hey, it would make one big ass ice cube for when I have my rum and coke. I mean, it's a little excessive in its size. It's like a third of the, no, it's almost half the glass. But anyways, going to make rum and coke. Damn it, there's no coke on the boat. So now I have to decide, do I want rum and root beer or rum and Dr. Pepper? Root beer, Dr. Pepper. Let's go Dr. Pepper. Holy crap, the ice cube is so big I can't even fit. This is a massive glass and I can't even fit this entire can in. Oh well. More rum to Coke or Dr. Pepper ratio. Yumminess. Check it out. It's like half ice, half brownie colored liquids, but it's tasty. Dr. Pepper is really just cherry Coke. Don't know if you know that. Oh yeah, it's so good. Okay, going outside. All right, this is the life. This is the life. I mean, a perfectly blue sky. It's hot, it's like 28 degrees, but this breeze, unexpectedly high breeze, which is actually really good when it's hot. Now I'm relaxing, I got nothing to do today, although I could edit. I did bring my iMac, remember, got my iMac on board. And I could use it while it's sunny. But then I'd be missing out on drinking beverages and enjoying the sun. Nah, I'm not gonna edit. The episodes you did see that I've already been up there, the one about sailing alone and the one I did where I interviewed that Ron Thompson guy in Alexandria Bay, those were both edited from inside my boat. Pretty cool. On my iMac Pro, I should say, not my laptop. Anyways, I think we've done enough in this episode to call it a day. I'll give you another episode of what I do tomorrow going back to pick up Janice, but that'll be another episode. So much stuff happened in this one with the wind picking up and everything going a little crazy there for a while. I'm sure I've got more than enough footage for an episode. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode. If so, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see me and Janice, starting tomorrow, cruising around the Thousand Islands and checking out things, having a few rum and cokes, you know. But it should be fun, so subscribe and you won't miss any episodes if you hit that little notification button. Other than that, I guess I'm signing off on this beautiful sunny day. Have a good one yourself, and until next time, safe cruising. So stay tuned to next episode when I sail back to Kingston to pick up Janice, and this time I'm close hauled, heeled way over, and way more wind than I expected yet again. This time I break out my more cinematic camera to get some nice, cool shots. You may not have heard, Cruising Off Duty now has a free app on the Apple and Android store. You can follow us along on YouTube, hit our Facebook page, hit our email, all sorts of things from this app. So definitely worth a download. And a special shout out to our patrons that make this channel possible. You guys rock. Until next time, this is Craig signing off, wishing you safe cruising.